¿Qué pasa, Raza? Today we are here with Blast over in Albuquerque, New Mexico, man. How's it going, brother?
Not bad, you?
Pretty good, man. Hey, so I got introduced to Blast from Rob Vanderslice, and you might notice that I'm wearing the same thing. That's because it's the same day. We rode out here and we wanted to check out his work. He was awesome enough to show us a little bit of his work. We have a few of the club mentors that came with us that wanted to learn how to do some gold leafing and some pinstriping, and he took the time out of his day to show us how to do some of that stuff. So I think we got one of our guys excited to go back home and try some of these skills on some cardboard and maybe some plastic and eventually maybe a car. So that's really neat. But Blast, tell me a little bit about yourself, brother. I mean, I always ask everybody that's in the lowrider scene, like, how did you get into lowriding?
Just the culture. I mean, I grew up with it. You know, you step out your door here in New Mexico and there's one driving by more than likely. So, or someone you know, or someone you grew up with owned one. So,
right.
Just by seeing them day to day, you know, and I just took to them. You know, you see the paint, you see the patterns, murals on them and stuff, and I was just attracted to it immediately.
So, how old were you when you bought your first lowrider?
Well, I started off with lowrider model cars, and I would do that. I was even selling interiors when I was young and everything.
Oh, really?
Middle school, customizing interiors for model cars and stuff. So it's, you know, I was 7, 8 years old when I first got my hands on some kind of lowrider.
That's
continued
awesome.
from there, started building bikes and progressed the cars.
And now you're building some pretty amazing cars.
That's all I do all day is lowride.
Man, so do you have any help or is it just you?
For the most part, it's just me here because it's such a custom market, custom thing that I do. I do have help that comes in there now and then, the heavy lifting stuff, but most of it is all me at this point, because it's a lot of gold leaf, lettering, and stuff like that.
What about like the body work and patch panels and all that? You do that yourself too?
Most of it myself too. It's a kind of a quality control issue.
Wow, that's good though. That means that your stuff comes out good, man. And that's important.
It's easy. Like I said, it's easier to control yourself than 5 workers to know where one left off or the other. So.
Well, that's great, man. So one of the things you said is you look out the door and you're going to see a lowrider, which is unique. I mean, to I think the West Coast, over here in Albuquerque, California, where we're from, in Kansas. Well, I'm originally from California, but I live in Kansas. It's not that way, right? So people have really picked up lowriding from magazines or YouTube, and there's some dudes that have been doing this since the '90s that I got to give major props to. Some dudes out in Wichita that have been doing it since forever. But for the most part, people have kind of picked it up from watching movies or things like that. So I think sometimes people have to come up with their interpretation of what lowriding is, what that culture really represents, what it's about. And you are in a place where lowriding is life out here. So what do you consider lowriding, and what is lowriding to you?
Having fun, really. To me, lowriding is having fun, customizing what you own to your liking.
Yeah.
To me, that's lowriding, enjoying it with your friends and people doing the same thing.
Right.
Everyone has their opinion, it has to be on fluid or it has to be, this or that, but really it's whatever you're working with. That's how it started. In the beginning, we started off, customizing to our liking with what we had.
Right.
It's evolved to, of course, a major thing now, but it still has that, roots to me. That's really.
Well, I love how you said it doesn't matter if you have bags or hydraulics, because you're a guy that owns a hopper.
Yeah, I have
that.
I have a hopper, jumps 8 feet in the air, and then I also have an Impala that I roll on stocks too also, so it's, it's what you're doing for that day, everything has a purpose. You build it to what purpose you have for it.
Right.
If you want to go and you want to hit 3 wheels and do that, you build it for that. If you want to go on road trips and drive it every day, you build it for that.
Right.
It's what you like, and that's, to me, that's what I said, that's lowriding.
That's awesome, man. So let me ask this, Blast. Let's say that we have somebody watching that's like, man, I want to get my car done. This dude seems like, he's doing really good work. How could somebody get a hold of you?
They could reach me here at the shop or on Instagram, Facebook. I have that Blast Factory. You could reach me there. Just get in touch with me and go from there.
Okay, that's awesome, man. You would work with them. Let's say they're in another state. If they
I work with people from all over the states and wherever they come, as long as they could, afford to bring it, make the trip. That's the hardest thing is traveling.
Right.
But if they want this certain type of work done, they get it done. It's like tattoos. You go with the person, you want that style.
Right.
And that's kind of the thing.
And you do like a lot of pinstriping and leafing and stuff like that. And I know that's an art that's kind of, it's going away, or it was never super like not everybody was doing it, right? It's always been kind of a niche market. How did you get into that specific art?
I've always been intrigued by it, part of it by need, part of it by want.
Right.
You know, I started, like I said, working on my own stuff, and we just don't have a lot of people here to do it. So, you know, when you're younger, you don't have the money to fly someone in to come and paint your car, so you just have to learn.
Right.
So that's kind of where I, got it. I just liked the whole art form of it, and just tried it once when I was younger, and of course I wasn't good right away, so put it down for a while, and revisited it a few years later, and just stuck with it, and it's led me here.
Well, I think that, you're just naturally talented, so probably anything you put your
Well,
head to.
I would like to think so, but some of it you got to force yourself to become, to build talent too.
Yeah.
Part of the talent is having the will to try.
Right.
I tell people all the time, you may not have talent, but that talent to try is part of it.
Well, I see some of the murals on the walls, and I had no idea that you did that with a spray can. So you're clearly talented.
Yeah, that's part of it too. I grew up doing graffiti art and all that stuff, so I kind of transitioned it. Use that in conjunction with all the painting, low writing, and just merged it all together.
And there you go.
Use what I could.
There you go, man. I love that, man. So I ask everybody this. I think, I work with kids, and I'm trying to build that next generation of lowriders. And there's always this advice that you could give kids, but I always think it's intriguing to me to think, what would you tell yourself if you had a time machine, you could fly back in time to when you were a teenager? What would be the advice that you would give yourself?
It's hard to say. Probably try harder.
Yeah.
Try harder and just try your best. That's it. Don't be afraid to try new things and to really get into the scene or whatever it is you're trying to do. If you're trying to learn a trade or a hobby or anything, you just got to go in at full force. Don't practice, do it.
Yeah, go full force.
If you do that, you'll have good results.
Well,
some kind of results, period.
That's awesome, man. Well, everyone, if you're ever around this side of the country, or you're interested in getting your car done and you want to reach out to this guy, look him up like he said, find him, contact him. I can tell you, I'm standing right here, I'm looking at the quality of work, and it's unbelievable. I wish that I could do the same. Maybe I will one day, send a car down here to get it done. But man, thank you so much for having us in your shop and showing us how to do this art that I was not able to pick up, but hopefully some of my team members were.
As long as the word is spread, we'll be all right.
That's right. Well, see you in the next episode, folks.